Benji's new friends. Benji sat at the end of the bed, feeling a little bit lonely. He was here, and he hadn't seen anyone else in the bedroom. He watched a moonbeam slip through the gap of the curtains and slide across the bed. "I wish that I had someone to play with," he whispered. Did I hear someone say they wanted to play?" asked a voice. The lid of the toy box flew open and out climbed dangly-legged Spotty Horse. "Hi, I'm Dotty and I love to play." Boing, boing. Dotty jumped onto the bed and began to bounce up and down. "Where did you come from?" she asked. "From the birthday party," replied Benji. "I was a present." "Did somebody mention a party?" A friendly-looking monkey poked his head around the curtain. "Why weren't Rosie and I invited?" A floppy-eared rabbit appeared beside him. "Max and I love parties," Rosie the rabbit told Benji. "And so does Humphrey." She stared at the toy box. A loud yawn came from inside. Then a bright blue hippo slowly lifted his head. "Party? A party," said Humphrey. "That means food, and I'm hungry. Is there anything left to eat?" "I think there are some cakes in the kitchen," replied Benji. "Do you think we should?" But Humphrey was already through the door. "Oh," said Benji, looking at the other toys. "Should we go after him?" Benji was bumping down the stairs after Humphrey when Dotty zoomed past. "This is fun," she neighed. "Wait for me," called Benji. Whee! In the kitchen, Humphrey was about to take a bite out of the leftover cake. The candle was already halfway into his mouth. Benji grabbed it just in time. "Excuse me," he exclaimed, "but you aren't meant to eat that bit." "Thanks, Benji. You're smart. I wish I knew things like that," grumbled Humphrey. Before Benji could explain about the candle, he heard Dotty and Rosie yell loudly. They were staring at a large black shape outside the kitchen window. They grabbed Benji and held on tight. "It's just a cat," Benji said. "No need to worry." "Phew," sighed Rosie in relief. "I wish I could be as brave as you, Benji," laughed Dotty. That cat will stay outside, won't it?" whispered Max. They all looked at Benji for reassurance. Max had crept across the room and hidden under the table. Humphrey's knees were shaking. There was a squeaking noise and then a loud clatter. "Don't worry, that's just the cat coming into the kitchen," exclaimed Benji. But Humphrey and Dotty, Max and Rosie had all raced out through the kitchen door and disappeared up the stairs as fast as their legs could carry them. Benji found them all back in the bedroom. It took some time to persuade them to come out. "Benji, will you always be here to look after us?" Dotty asked him. Benji gave a tiny little smile. It was nice to feel wanted. "Of course," he replied. Humphrey was tired from their adventures. "How am I going to sleep when I'm so hungry?" he sniffed, settling back down on the bed. Dotty and Rosie giggled. They danced around on the bed. Max joined in. "Why don't we all play in the garden tomorrow?" Rosie suggested. "What's your garden like?" asked Benji. "I'll show you," said Dotty, and she helped Benji up to have a look out the window. "Whoa," he said, "it looks really exciting. Are you going to play in the garden, Humphrey?" Humphrey, said Humphrey sleepily. "It's such a long way to the garden. I might just have a little nap instead." Benji smiled at his new sleepy friend. Dotty jumped back into the bed and started to bounce. Benji looked up at the moon. He had a feeling that he wouldn't be lonely anymore. "I wish that tomorrow will be as much fun as today," he whispered. Then Benji turned to his new friends and took a huge leap and began to bounce on the bed. "Here's to new friends," he laughed. Let's have a go. Georgia was a fast runner. This was her first race. "Have fun," said Dad. "It's good to have a go." Georgia ran as fast as she could, but Max was even faster. He raced across the finish line. "I don't want to run anymore," said Georgia. "I love to run," said Dad. You love to run," said Dad. "It doesn't matter if you don't win." Dad stood at the finish line. Georgie smiled and ran. This time she and Max came equal. "I'm glad I had a go," said Georgie. Little Hippo. "Jump into the river, little hippo. The water is lovely," said Mummy Hippo. "I'm frightened, Mummy. I can't swim," said little hippo. "Don't worry, little hippo," said Daddy. "We will catch you." "I'm frightened, Daddy. I can't swim," said little hippo. "The water is nice and cool, and it's such a hot day. Jump in, little hippo, and cool down a little bit," said Mummy. "But what if I sink, Mummy?" said little hippo. "Hippos do not sink. They float. Now jump in," said Daddy. "But what if I get water in my ears?" said little hippo. "It won't hurt you, little hippo. Jump in." So with a big splash, little hippo jumped into the river. The river was cool and it was a hot day. "It's nice in the river, Mummy," said little hippo. Daddy smiled. He was very proud. The crunching, munching caterpillar. The crunching, munching caterpillar. Caterpillar was always hungry. For weeks he crunched and he munched his way through the fresh, juicy leaves of a blackberry bush. One day, Caterpillar was about to crunch into another leaf when Bumblebee landed beside him. "Whoa," said Caterpillar. "How did you get here?" "Simple," said Bumblebee. "I have wings. Look." "Oh, I'd like some of those," said Caterpillar. Bumblebee flew up into the air and buzzed busily from flower to flower. "I'd love to fly like that," said Caterpillar. "Well, you can't," said Bumblebee. "I've got wings and you've got legs. Your legs are for walking." "I guess so," sighed Caterpillar. Bzzz! Bumblebee flew off to the next bush. Watching Bumblebee fly had made Caterpillar very hungry, so he crunched and he munched until it was time for bed. Crunch, munch, yawn. Caterpillar woke to the sound of twittering. Birds swooped and soared in the morning light. Caterpillar was just about to start his breakfast when Sparrow landed beside him. "I'd love to fly high in the air like that," said Caterpillar. "Well, you can't," said Sparrow. "You need to be as light as the dandelion cloak that float in the breeze." "I guess so," said Caterpillar grumpily. Caterpillar carried on crunch-munching all day until the light began to dim. He wrapped a leaf around himself to keep warm. He was just about to go to sleep when Butterfly landed gracefully beside him. "Oh, I wish I could fly like you," sighed Caterpillar, "but I'm too fat and I have legs instead of wings." Butterfly smiled a secret, knowingly smile. "Who knows? Perhaps one day you will fly, light as a feather like me," she said. "But now, little Caterpillar, you should go to sleep. You look very tired." Butterfly was right. Caterpillar suddenly felt very sleepy. As Butterfly flew off into the night sky, he fell into a deep, deep sleep. Caterpillar slept all through the winter, and his sleep was filled with dreams. He dreamed he had wings and he was soaring in the blue sky above the tall trees. He dreamed he was a dandelion cloak drifting towards the sun. He dreamed he was as light as a feather floating on the breeze. When Caterpillar woke up, he felt the warmth of the spring sun. He was stiff from the long sleep, but he did not feel very hungry. He stretched and stretched. And a breeze lifted Caterpillar into the air. He was no longer short and plump. He had wings, great big wonderful butterfly wings. "Whoa," said young Butterfly, "I'm flying. I'm really flying." Cars. Learn about things that move. I'm a yellow sedan, the most common car on the road. With 4 doors and a closed roof, I carry a precious load. I'm a blue ute. I often have 2 doors, a tray on the back for tools, and for furry friends with paws. I am a green 4x4 with chunky tyres to grip. Through the mud and dirt, I love an off-road trip. I am a blue convertible. I cruise along in the open air. With 2 doors and my top down, feel the wind in your hair. I am a black Jeep, small, tough and sturdy. Across the rugged terrain, watch my body get dirty. I am an orange monster truck. I perform stunts for the crowd. Look at my oversized wheels and hear me roar so loud. Spot goes to the park. This book belongs to. Spot goes to the park. Let's all go to the park, Spot. It's so nice today. Great, Mum. Come on, Spot. What are you doing? I'm getting my ball. Wait for us, Spot. Where are you going? Helen, Spot, don't chase the pigeons. I only want to play. Oops, where did the ball go? It's right here. Spot likes the swing. My turn next. Who is Spot waving to? Hello, Spot. Now Spot and Helen play Piggy in the middle with Tom. It's too high. Splash. How will we get it back? Quack. Look, the ball is coming back to Spot. What a kind duck. Say thank you, Spot. Quack, quack.